Having a touchscreen in your car is a great way to get CarPlay or Android Auto at your fingertips, and you don't need to buy a new car to get these features. Dashboard console screens such as the one INNOVV make are a fantastic way of enhancing your driving experience with easy to use navigation and entertainment controls. But their latest V2 screen also adds dual recording cameras as well as apps such as YouTube, Netflix and Spotify into the mix, giving your car a complete tech upgrade. The INNOVV V2 is a 10.3-inch screen that connects to CarPlay and Android Auto via your phone and can be installed in minutes without any extra tools. With features like Bluetooth 5.0, dual band Wi-Fi, 64GB of storage, GPS, built-in speakers, voice control and of course support for dual Full HD cameras, this thing truly is packed to the brim. INNOVV kindly sent me the V2 so I could make this video, but as always, all the thoughts and opinions in this video are entirely my own. INNOVV have been at the forefront of motorcycle tech for years, so it's nice to see them continuing their line of products for cars, as I reviewed their breakout V1 screen a few months back, which they've built on to create the V2. If you like what you see, I'll leave affiliate links in the description below to the best current prices. Using those helps out the channel at no extra cost to you. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. Opening up the box, you're greeted by the user manual, which we'll look at later, and then the main V2 screen unit. Peeling the protective layer off, you've got a sleek, reflective black screen and, turning the device over, a minimal design to the back. At the top you have a vent with the microphone to the right of it. The large shape in the middle is the magnetic mounting point, with the built-in 3-watt speaker to the lower left and another vent along the bottom edge. On one side you have a micro SD card slot, though one isn't included in the box, and this would be for loading your own media or recording with the cameras if you have them plugged in. The small hole next to it is a reset button with the USB-C power port next to it. On the other side you have the connections for both cameras. Overall a very stripped back design. Below the screen tray are a bunch of accessories to complete the setup. Up first is the standard 12V to USB-C power cable for powering the device, which is long enough to fit most vehicles. Next is the magnetic mount, which attaches into the space on the back of the screen. By unscrewing the collar, you can attach and then tighten either of the included mounts. And these mounts are, firstly a vent mount, which unscrews to lengthen or shorten and tightens into your vent. Or you can use this suction cup mount. The cup is a bit sticky too for an extra firm fit, and the push lever helps with this too. The arm is metal and bendable, so can be used in a number of dashboard positions. Next in the box are the two cameras which are identical, one to film out the front and one out of the back window. The lenses tilt around 180 degrees on their mounts, so you'll be able to get pretty much any view of the road. I don't think either of these are water resistant, so the back one would need to be mounted inside the vehicle, and this can be done via the attached sticky pad. They both connect to the screen via a 4-pin connector which plugs into two much longer cables, which you'll also find in the box. There's also 2 spare sticky pads included in case you make a mistake or want to reposition, and a couple of INNOVV stickers too. Finally, there's the user manual, which looks like a short leaflet but is actually a very thorough pullout and is really useful to have available. Installing the INNOVV V2 screen is nice and easy and won't take too long. If you choose the dashboard mount, it's simply a matter of placing it on the flat part of your dash, pressing down to lock it in place, bending the metal bar over the dashboard and you're done. If you prefer the vent mount, you just hook it into one of your vents, twist to secure it and again you're done. With the magnetic mount attached to the back of the screen, push it onto the dashboard mount and tighten it up. Once the screen is mounted, plug the included power cable into your car's 12V socket or USB port, and the V2 powers up every time automatically with the ignition. Next it's time to install the cameras. Let's start with the front one, and like any dashcam, you can pretty much install it anywhere you want to, just make sure it doesn't obstruct your field of view. When you've decided, make sure the glass is clean, peel back the film from the sticky pad and press to the glass, holding for 30 seconds to ensure a good bond. Get the first slightly shorter cable and plug it into the camera. This will need to be hidden so it both looks nice and isn't a hazard, so you can start tucking it into the headliner above you before working your way down the A-pillar to the floor, along to the centre of the dashboard and up to the screen. To make the install look neat, it's best to route the cable up through the dashboard trim, such as I've done for previous devices here, and it's more practical to feed both the front and back camera wires at the same time. How to remove dashboard trim varies between vehicles, but it often just pops up and there are often tutorials available. Do make sure as well that you aren't blocking any airbags when you run the cables. The general rule is to follow existing wiring. With the front camera installed and plugged into the console, you can do the same process for the rear camera. Stick it to the window in your chosen spot and feed the wire towards the front, hiding it as you go either in a headliner above or, like I've done because I have a van, under the removable floor. Get the wire to the front and feed it up to the screen before plugging it in. These will now start recording whenever the device is turned on. One initial comment I have after setup is that both the dashboard and vent mounts hold the V2 in place over your existing radio or cover other parts of your dashboard controls. Whilst this can make it look more integrated, it'd just be nice to see the option of a sticky pad mount so you can mount it on top of your dashboard so it doesn't hide anything. After powering the V2 on, which does take a little longer than some other consoles, you're greeted with a really nice looking home screen interface and brief instructions on how to use it before being taken to a setup wizard where you choose your language and time zone. Tapping to change the time zone, you can see by the interface that the device uses Android as an operating system and, on first glance, the device appears to be very responsive. Moving to the next screen, there's more instructions on how to use it before you're taken to the home page. At this point I have to say this is probably the most comprehensive and nicely designed home screen I've ever seen on a dashboard console, and I really think INNOVV have put a lot of consideration into it. So where to start? Well, this movable button is pressable and gives you a quick shortcut to volume and brightness controls as well as a home button and back button. On the home screen in the very top left hand corner you have the time as well as much larger with the date and day of the week below it. Underneath that is a music player which will only be used if you've loaded content onto the device and aren't using CarPlay or Android Auto, as they have their own interfaces. Moving to the right, the first button is CarPlay and you can tap that to go to the CarPlay connection screen with instructions on how to connect. Next to the CarPlay button is an option for iPhone screen mirroring, or tapping that you'll get the Cast button for Android phone screen mirroring. To the right of that is a Wi-Fi symbol which takes you to the Wi-Fi settings of the screen. The question mark button brings up QR codes to scan for help. And the final button takes you to a number of software settings where you can change the screen to high frame rate mode or tell the screen that your steering wheel is on the right. To check software upgrades, you'd need to be connected to the internet. Going back to the home screen, you then have the Android Auto button which shows the same settings as CarPlay. To connect to Android Auto from this screen, find the V2 connection in your phone's Bluetooth and connect. There may be some permissions and basic setup required, but once connected the V2 will automatically connect to your phone as long as it's in range, every time it powers up. This is how I use dashboard consoles most of the time, and it's a very useful and powerful feature to have, giving access to navigation apps like Google Maps, Apple Maps or Waze, as well as Spotify, other music players, podcasts, phone calls and a variety of messaging apps, all presented in a driver-friendly way on a screen on your dashboard. The next button on the home screen is for iPhone and Android screen mirroring and takes you back to the screen we've already seen. It's very useful to be able to mirror a phone to your screen, but it's not a feature I've used often in my years using dashboard consoles. The fourth large button is Audio Out, and this takes you to the 3 ways that you can play audio from this device. Either by the built-in speaker, via FM transmission, where you choose a frequency on the screen and select the same frequency on your vehicle's radio to pick up the sound. Or Bluetooth audio, which is how I always listen to music on dashboard consoles, and this allows for wireless playback as well as retaining the function of your Bluetooth steering wheel controls. To get this functionality working, make sure your phone is connected to the screen via Android Auto or CarPlay, and also connect the phone to your car's audio Bluetooth. That way, your phone is telling the screen what to show and the car what to play, and you'll now be able to skip tracks via your steering wheel controls, if you have them of course. On this screen there isn't a back button, but there are 2 ways to get back if you want. The first is by pressing the movable button and using the back or home options there, but for the other, because this is essentially an Android tablet, you can just swipe to the left of the screen and you'll be taken back to the home screen, which is really neat and also shows just how quick and responsive this screen is in use. The camera box on the home screen shows either what the camera's seeing or is black if none are connected. And all you have to do to see the second camera is tap the box once and you'll cycle between them. The image is very clear, is useful to have on the home screen, and at the top of the box you have the recording symbol, the length of time the cameras have been recording, the speed you're currently going, as well as your GPS location. Moving to the bottom of the home page, you have a number of shortcuts to the built-in Android apps, and you will need an internet connection of some sort to make these work, and connecting to Wi-Fi can be done in the settings which I'll show in a moment. The easiest way to get internet to this device, as there isn't a SIM card slot, is to use your phone as a hotspot. When connecting to the internet on the V2, however, you can't be connected to CarPlay or Android Auto at the same time. It's an either-or situation. The first app is Maps, which takes you to Google Maps where you can instantly see where you are, create a route and navigate. The next app is YouTube, and you have the standard Android app installed here so you can search for anything you want, again provided you have a Wi-Fi connection. As this is an Android device, you will need to be logged into a Google account to access YouTube, many of the other apps, and to download more of them. Next you have Camera, and here you get a full screen image of the cameras currently connected. You can swipe between them and also get a side-by-side view too. The menu along the bottom of this screen gives you a number of settings. The first one is the album, and here you can view all of your recorded video clips, all of your locked video clips, and any photos that you've taken. You can tap files to enlarge them and scrub through clips or move on to the next ones. You'll only record video or see recorded clips here if you have a microSD card installed, and unfortunately the V2 doesn't come with one, which is a shame, so you'll have to grab one yourself, but luckily they're not too expensive. The next camera menu item is the lock button, where you can protect a chosen clip from being deleted or overwritten. Next there's the camera button, and this takes a photo of the current scenes that both cameras are seeing. Then there's the video camera button, which is blue because it's recording, though tapping it turns the camera off and stops recording. There's a microphone button to turn the microphone off, so you're not recording any noise from within the vehicle. And finally there's a settings button. The first option is to format the SD card, but when I did that I found that the microSD card wasn't recognised on my computer when I tried to copy video clips. Instead I had to format the card to exFAT format on a computer, and then it worked. It's a slightly irritating glitch to an otherwise promising device. Then you can change how long each of your video clips should be. As with all the dash cams, the V2 uses loop recording to break the clips up and overwrite the oldest footage, and here you have the options of clips between 1 and 5 minutes in length. You can change between kilometers and miles per hour, and there's a section for lens height adjustment. Now, when you hit the enter the current calibration mode button, which is really fancier than it sounds, you get a vertical and horizontal line on the screen so that you can line the cameras up. You can do this for the interior camera as well as the rear camera, however the headless car option does nothing that I can see. Finally, you have the option to flip the rear camera if you've got it installed upside down or in an unusual way. There's one further thing to note about the cameras on the V2. They are both dash cams, so they record footage, but the rear camera is not a functional reversing camera, and no reversing lines will show up on the screen. It can't be connected to a rear light bulb to automatically activate and show reversing lines, though you could manually navigate to the camera screen if you wanted to see what's behind you when reversing. Going back to the home screen, the middle app is Theme, and here you can change your wallpaper. There's only one pre-installed on the device, but you could add your own as a background if you wanted to. Next is Chrome, which is the Google Chrome browser, and again this functions as it would on a tablet or computer, so you can browse the web from your car. The final app is Settings, and this takes you to the Android settings, where you have a huge number of options to play with. Starting at the top, you have network and internet for connecting to Wi-Fi and getting online. Then you have connected devices, and if you've connected your phone to the V2, then it will show up here. Below is device settings, and you can turn the tapping sound when you touch the screen on or off. Then there's apps, and you can see all of the apps installed and when they were last used. Below that is storage, and we can see that we have 64 GB in total on this device, with 12 already used for the software and a bit more used for apps and documents. Next is sound, and you can adjust all the different volumes you might need. Then onto display, and here you can change the brightness level, screen timeout, turn on dark theme, which will only work on the Android interface and not on the home screen, as that's INNOVV's own interface. You've also got night light here, which does work on the home screen as well, and is nice for taking the blue tint out of the screen's light, which could be great for night driving. Next is location, and you can see all the apps that are allowed to use your location. Then there's Google, and this is where you can sign into your Google account on the device, which you'll probably need to do to get the most out of the screen. System shows options to change language, date and time. to back up the device to your Google Drive if you're logged into your Google account, and how to reset the device. Finally, the last setting is about device, and you can see the device name as well as the RAM, which in this case is 4GB, the Android version, which is Android 14, and other serial numbers you might want. Going back to the home page, there's one further button, and this is Add, and you'll need to remove one of the home screen apps before you can add any more. The camera and theme apps can't be removed, but by pressing and holding on one of the other apps you can remove them. To add an app back, just hit Add and you'll be taken to a screen with all of the available apps. You can tap the app and it'll be added again. I can't see a way to reorder them, so if you wanted the apps back exactly as when the device was first set, you may have to reset the whole device. So that's the home screen, but we're not finished there, because if you swipe to the right, you have a second screen showing all of the apps installed on the device, and you'll notice there's a Google Store app here too. Once you're signed into Google, you can then go in and download even more apps that you might want, such as Netflix, though obviously don't be watching that while you're driving. As with some Android loaded devices like this, not all apps will be downloadable, but there will be lots to choose from. Aside from the white apps and others that we've already looked at, preloaded on the device is Spotify, which you'll need an account for, Files to see anything you've downloaded to the device, and Native Player, which will show all the videos, music and pictures that you've got on the V2. GPS Test Plus is an interesting looking app which shows your GPS location and how many satellites you're connected to, which is also displayed in the very top right corner of the screen, along with a lot of other data which might be of interest to you. And there's a dark mode for this too, which turns the whole screen red and is pretty cool. The addition of 2 cameras to the V2 makes it a huge upgrade from the V1, and I really like that they're movable, as many dashboard consoles have fixed or built-in cameras. Being identical cameras, you can expect the same image quality at both the front and rear, and whilst 1080 Full HD is on the lower end of the resolution you have available for dash cams these days, if you're going to install a screen for navigation, audio and apps, then it might as well have a couple of cameras watching over the vehicle while you drive too. For the resolution, the video quality is really good, and as the front camera isn't attached to the screen, it doesn't wobble if the screen moves or vibrates. You're getting quite detailed footage from the cameras that makes number plates and road markings easy to read in good lighting. Footage looks crisp and well balanced with good colour reproduction and minimal distortions, though bearing in mind that I'm filming through tinted rear windows. At night, as with most dash cams, the cameras struggle a bit, but you're capturing most of what's around you in good quality, though some number plates may be lost due to the extreme brightness of headlights against the darkness of night. Both cameras, however, complement each other nicely, giving you a complete picture of your daily driving and incidents from multiple angles. It's invaluable if you ever need it for insurance or evidence. As you may have guessed, the INNOVV V2 sits at the premium end of the dashboard console market. The V2 retails at around £220 or $290 without cameras, or £260 or $340 with dual cameras, though can often be found cheaper. If you're looking for something more budget friendly, then check out INNOVV's V1 model, which lacks the cameras and Android integration, but does a cracking job with CarPlay and Android Auto. If you'd like to get either for yourself, I've put affiliate links in the description below to both INNOVV's website and other worthwhile retailers. By using my links, you're helping support this channel at no extra cost to you. The INNOVV V2 is an excellent dual camera dashboard console system which does exactly what it promises. It's well built, reliable and designed to blend seamlessly into your car rather than drawing attention to itself, and the addition of Android and apps is so good to have. The installation takes a little bit of effort, and I would have liked to have seen a microSD card included, but the payoff is a clean, factory-style setup which records the road around you with every drive automatically. Video quality is strong from both cameras, and the overall experience feels polished and professional. If you're looking for a no-nonsense screen with a front and rear camera system that you can install once and trust, the INNOVV V2 is a very solid choice. If you found this review helpful and think I've earned it, please give the video a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.